So, after a long wait for this season, and then a long wait in the middle of the season for some reason, Season 2 of Invincible is now complete. The finale is here, and it is pretty sick. Today I'm just going to be kind of reviewing the finale and talking about the season as a whole. I'm still planning on doing a Season 3 predictions video, but it'll probably be next week. I know. I just want to reread the comics before I finish that video so I can have a better idea. You're Invincible fans. You're used to waiting. It's okay. But anyways, let's get into what I thought of the finale. Spoilers, obviously, if you haven't seen it. I thought the finale was really solid. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I love it. The whole fight with Angstrom was just adapted so well. They really did it pretty one-to-one from the comics, but the changes they did make were pretty awesome as well. Showing Angstrom's fused memories of the alternate versions of Mark really helped you understand his delusion better, and some of those moments were the most brutal ones in the season. The karate chop decapitation line and the killing of Angstrom's son were both just shocking moments, and it was really nice for comic fans to still get that shock as well. It also feeds into Debbie's monologue about how she's the reason Mark is good and how Angstrom is mad that this universe's Mark is good, and that whole scene is just brilliant. I also loved the little moment where he throws the knife to send Mark through another portal. It's such a small moment, but it shows Angstrom's intelligence in action. The way the intensity heightens when he breaks Debbie's arm as well is just nuts, and the way Mark reacts is just so powerful. And of course, the beatdown was such a huge moment. I want to give major props to Sterling K. Brown and Sandra Oh for their voice acting because they both crush it as Debbie and Angstrom, but holy shit, does Steven Yeun steal the show in the beatdown scene. His voice acting alone elevates that moment so much. I think this season especially, he's given the best voice acting performance in the show, which is awesome because he plays the titular character. The thing I think I love about the episode the most is when Mark gets back, everything just feels so somber. I can't even really explain it, but it's such a distinct emotion that's evoked, and while a small part of me wishes there was more that happened after the Angstrom fight, I'm honestly happy with this because it's just so effective. I can't be mad at them for not having Mark confess feelings for Eve in that last scene when that last scene is so powerfully bleak. It makes sense that he just doesn't know what to say or who to turn to, and them showing that when you expect him to come out of that just really encapsulates that feeling well. It wouldn't really make sense for him to lean in for a kiss at that moment. He just got majorly traumatized and is still processing it. The decision to have Mark confiding in Eve not only makes more sense, but I think it'll also help build an even stronger foundation for their relationship. The sequence where Mark is venting while flying after the Angstrom fight may be one of my favorite sequences in the entire show. Not only is it visually beautiful, but it's just so thematically effective in the music and voice acting. It just adds so much to it, and man, I just love it. It tells you so much without saying anything, and that's powerful. Another small thing I liked was the rescue scene. Like I said last week, I love when they're able to do scenes one-to-one and make it work, and that was definitely a strong example, and it was really brought to life well. I also really loved Cecil's sincerity with Debbie after the Angstrom encounter and his sincerity with Mark when he returns. And I love the scene where Mark just cries with his mom in the hospital bed, and the scene towards the end when he's explaining why he's leaving college. It all just really makes the audience feel the kind of weight Mark is feeling after the Angstrom encounter, and it's just done so well. This finale is just a really good conclusion to this season as well because it concludes the themes and arcs excellently. I know I talked about in my first prediction video how I thought the Cecil fight would be better, but I'm honestly very happy with this. Mark desperately wants to prove he's not like his dad at every turn, and then eventually he just turned into his dad in his eyes in such an impactful way, and now he has to deal with that. The parallel between Nolan and Mark within this episode is just so fucking good. I haven't seen it talked about enough. Obviously, there's the parallel between Mark beating Angstrom and Nolan beating Mark, but it goes deeper than that when you look at the way they both react to their situations. Mark acted on violence from being pushed to that point, and now deeply regrets it and is afraid of this Viltrumite side of his. Nolan acted on violence by his own will, and now deeply regrets it and is afraid of this human side of his. Both Mark and Nolan are feeling remorse for their acts of violence, but Mark is afraid his act of violence makes him more like a Viltrumite, and Nolan is afraid his remorse makes him less like a Viltrumite. It's just next level, beautiful, beautiful writing. To me, the writing is the backbone of this show. It's what separates it from any other show like it. It's taking an amazing source material and expanding on it in such creative and effective ways. This finale was a perfect example of that and how strong the writing in this show really is. All in all, I really loved this finale, and I loved this season, and I loved the show in general, but it was a really strong conclusion to this season, and this season was just a blast, and I'm really excited for more. Now, there are some criticisms of the finale and this season in general I've seen, and I would love to address them. Some of them I kind of agree with, and some of them are very stupid. Let's start with the stupid ones because that's more fun. The first stupid criticism is people being mad or upset they didn't actually get Spider-Man for that cameo. Part of me really wants to go on a rant explaining why that's such a stupid, uneducated, closed-minded, baseless, thoughtless criticism, but I'll summarize. You're just kind of dumb if that seriously bothered you. Hope that helps. Less stupid, but still unimportant, is the title card thing. A lot of people have said they think it's dumb that they didn't give Mark the black suit in this episode, even though the title card built to it. This one I kind of agree with, even though I don't really think it matters. I really don't mind that they didn't give Mark the black suit in this episode. I just don't really understand what they did the title card build up for. Like, you could have just done something else, but again, it doesn't really matter. Another pretty dumb one I've seen is people complaining about the way they wrapped up a lot of the side arcs, like Kate and Immortal and Rudy and Amanda. I think most people complaining just haven't read the comics, so they don't realize there's more to those arcs than they know, and these small moments will help with more important stuff later on. I will agree, though, I think the Rudy and Amanda one could have involved a more active role from either of them. Just having a random conversation felt like kind of a weird way to wrap up that arc for this season, in my opinion, but it's a pretty small thing. Another criticism I've seen is people not liking the scarab mummy thing or whatever, which honestly I kind of see both sides. On one hand, it's just a little gag that doesn't take anything away. On the other hand, it was maybe a little too long to be included in such an emotional finale episode, but it's not really a huge deal. Now, the most common criticism I've seen of the finale is that it felt underwhelming. I think that's a pretty silly one, to be honest. I'm not sure what people really wanted from the finale, because we got a lot of superhero shenanigans, fights, fun stuff, gory beatdowns, emotional moments, and just phenomenal writing. Like, did you want more superhero fights? More good writing? It's just odd to me. I know it's subjective, and if you just didn't enjoy it, that's totally valid. I just don't understand people saying it's underwhelming. I think some people are acting like not a lot happened this finale or this season really, but I think you should probably rewatch if you're of that opinion. It's a pretty fucking eventful season, but that does bring me to my next point. I think season 2 is a lot of setup for season 3. When they made season 1, they were only greenlit for just that season, so it's a complete story with setup and payoff within the season. When they were making season 2, they were greenlit for season 3 as well, so I think they intentionally used that to their advantage. A lot of events, arcs, and themes that will likely take place in season 3 were set up excellently in season 2. I think because we only saw the setup of those things and have yet to get the payoff, some fans feel like the show left a lot open-ended, but I promise you, the payoff you're looking for is coming. Think of season 2 like Infinity War and season 3 like Endgame, if you need an analogy. If you just watch Infinity War on its own, you may feel like it's left open-ended or unsatisfying. But if you watch Endgame right after, both of them are stronger because of it. You gotta have both pieces of the bread to make the sandwich, you know. Anyways, that's probably a good place to leave it for now. I'll definitely dive into what all I think season 2 is setting up in my season 3 prediction video next week. Like I said up top, I'm rereading the comics to see if I'm missing anything, but I promise the video will be worth the wait. If you've got any theories or predictions, please feel free to leave them down below, and there's a good chance I'll acknowledge it in the video. I appreciate all the feedback and love you guys have been giving these videos, so I definitely plan on keeping them up. I'm just a busy college student, and I can only do so much. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more, and check out our podcast, The Nerd Authorities, for more content. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.